But beyond anything else, if I could give you the greatest, most valuable lesson, I believe it would be have a committed heart. Decide to decide and do not let anything take you off of that. Welcome to Your Words Create Your World podcast. I'm Carrie Robertson. Today I want to talk to you about commitment. See, commitment is something that you have to follow through with. You have to stay in pursuit of the commitment. Because here's what I know is that oftentimes when something new comes into our world, it's shiny, it sparkles, it has such promise and hope, and we start to see things. And then, you know what? As you really get started on the journey, well, what happens is that the path to your dreams looks like work. It looks like maybe some detours along the way. And so sometimes people literally lose their focus, and it's because of a lack of commitment. See, when I commit to something, I'm going to see it through. I'm going to see the end from the beginning, and then I'm going to start from the beginning and get to the end. And so we really need to pay attention to this in our life, because oftentimes, let's just be real, our society has cheapened the word commitment. Guys, we have starter marriages. That should just sicken us, as truth be told. It is what it is. But we have more people filing bankruptcy and foreclosure. We have what's called starter homes. Oh, don't worry, you're not going to be here long. And if you don't like it, you can get a new one. That's not the way that we should be looking at things in life. We should be committed. We should be committed. We should be true to our word. And we should see things through to the end. But too often we just don't. And, we've spent years in marriage ministry, and often we've seen people just ready to throw in the towel on their marriage, not because of big monumental things that have happened. No, literally the fact that they fight over the clothes on the floor, not being in the hamper, or they fight over little petty things. Somebody didn't take out the trash when they were supposed to, or, it's the little things. And so, because the truth is the commitment's not real in their heart, and they haven't committed to the end all, like, I'm going to be here forever. Like, honestly, I told my husband there's one way out. I will help people look for your body, but there's one way out. Like, you're going to be dead. That's the only way you get out of this covenant and this commitment. And so I say that jokingly, but the truth is that we early on vowed to never use the word divorce. Like, it's just not, we're not going to use it. People throw it around all day long like it's confetti at a party. And you know what happens? They usually end up divorced, because after all, your words create your world. And so I just want to encourage you that whenever you look at your life, that you just truly stay committed to all the things, the hopes, the dreams you have, the business that you start. You don't look at it as, hey, if I'll give it a couple of months and see if it works. Look, there's not a business in the world that's going to be just successful and booming in a couple of months. Don't kid yourself. People start up businesses and expect 5 to 10 years to even turn a profit in the real world. And so, whenever I see people that just don't take action and they don't follow through on their commitment, it honestly becomes an identity of who their character is. And so, you see, I learned a long time ago from a great mentor in my life at a very young age. I was given great wisdom. You quit the first time and it's hard. You quit the second time and it's a little bit easier. You quit the third time and it's actually who you've become. It's your identity. You're a quitter. And I just vowed that I would never be that person. I would never quit. In fact, I'm going to tell you a story, because I did quit once. One time, many, many, many years ago. And this is where this lesson really became my reality. And I vowed I would never quit again. See, I had the big commitments. They were good. Like the big commitments, marriage, that was never going to be a question, like that kind of thing. But here's the reality, is that life got hard. I got emotional. I was pregnant. So I tell people like that maybe that played into it, but I was in business. I was actually doing pretty well in business. So it didn't have anything to do with failing or declining. Business was pretty good, but I was hanging on to other people's commitments. See, when somebody tells me they want their life to be different physically, financially, emotionally, all the things, I take that very, very personal. And so through that process, I showed up just like I always will. I'll show up. I will be a person of my word, a person of integrity and character, and a person you can count on and trust. That's who I am at my core. And so I showed up. But guess what? The other person didn't show up for their people. And so at the end of the night, I came home and honestly, I was pregnant. Did I mention that? I was very pregnant. But I sat on my kitchen floor and I cried. And I actually said, I quit. Now, what was I quitting? I mean, honestly, I wasn't quitting, but I said it. And because I was always listening to this mentor of mine, and back then it was cassette tapes, so we put them in the car and we listened to them as we went places. And my little boy was always hearing these messages. And at the time he was 7 years old, and he walked in and he tapped me on the shoulder and he said, "Mommy, are you okay?" Of course I'm okay. And he goes, "All right, because Mom, I've been watching the clock and I know you quit, but you can never quit for more than 10 minutes. Let me tell you, in that moment, what happened, honestly, was something internal clicked. And I looked that little boy in the eyes with those beautiful blue eyes, and I said to him, "Son, I will never quit, not even for 10 minutes." See, because what I realized is that I had attached my purpose, my why for why I do what I do to help people, my business, my dreams, all that. I had attached that to my purpose, which was my son and my daughter who was on the way. Because you see, prior to starting that business, I was the mom who didn't have money for Christmas. I was the mom wondering, will there even be a Christmas present under the tree? I was the mom who had just had to explain to that same little boy, "Baby, they weren't mad at you today at school when you got in trouble." See, he didn't have his clothes for the Christmas play dress rehearsal because Mommy didn't have the money to buy them. And so he came home from school crying and he was so upset, and I had to tell him, "They're mad at me, not you. I'm so sorry. I'll fix this." See, I was at my just worst in life. I was there. I was at rock bottom in physical, in health, all the things financially. And so when I started this business, he was my purpose. He was my why. And quickly after, we conceived our daughter, Hannah. And so now I had him and her. And I said that every day, my children are my purpose. I will never be the mom who can't provide again. Well, what I realized in that moment as I looked into his eyes was I didn't have to say it out loud. What I was subconsciously telling my son is, I'm quitting on you. See, because if he's the reason I do it, and then he hears me say I quit, I attached that, and it's something inside of me changed. And I said, no. I looked him in the eye and I said, "Son, I would never quit on you or your sister. And so you will never hear your mom use the word I quit ever. Not for 10 minutes, not for 10 seconds. And that's really powerful because he was 7. Now he's married. He's 31. He has 3 children of his own, 8, 3, and 1. And the truth is that you could call him. I'm telling you, he's never heard his mother say I quit. He has watched me get knocked down. He's watched us in life. He's watched the trials that come along. Whether, there's sometimes you can do everything right and things still happen to you that are out of your control. And he watched us go through some really tough moments. He never heard me quit. What he did hear me say is, I will be back. Because I knew that God would never give you something so great and take it away. See, God didn't take it away. Man took it away. But he would never give you that. He would never allow you to see that. He would never allow you to do those great things and then not give you the ability somewhere down the road to do it even bigger and better. I believe that with all my heart. See, I believe that every setback is just a set up for a comeback. And so I trusted that God would renew everything. You see, because when I made a commitment to that business, I didn't know all the things that commitment would entail. I didn't know the journey. I couldn't see it all 20 years down the road. I could see I could provide. I could see I would never have to tell my kids I can't afford to get you your basic needs again. I could see those things rather quickly, and I could see greatness, and I could start to dream. But to be quite honest, I could have never told you that I was going to become an author. I was going to start the nonprofits. There was those things that came because of the rewards of finances. And so when I say all that, I just tell people, you just don't really know. You can see so far, But trust me, the plans that God has for you are so much greater. And so he had already given me visions of beyond where he had taken me. And that's mind blowing all in itself. But as I began to see that, well, then when finances changed and I thought, well, that's not going to happen. No, you see, you got to have to trust in the dark what God showed you in the light, because now it's even bigger and greater than it once was. And so I'm just here to tell you, hold on to your hopes and dreams. But in the process of that, you have to stay committed. This isn't a let me find my first way out. Because I'm telling you, and if I said it once, I'll say it again. I'll say it 1,000 times. In the beginning, things are always fun, right? They're always shiny. They're always sparkly. But the path to success, it's going to have some roadblocks. It's going to have some detours. There's going to be some potholes. It's going to look like work. It is still going to be worth it. It is so worth it. And so you've just got to stay committed. That marriage, that honeymoon phase, it will wear off. But I'm telling you, 25 years down the road, the marriage is better than it was in the beginning. Why? Because you grow together. You get to know one another. Yes, the new wears off. And most people get caught up there. See, you didn't really know that person in the beginning, even though you maybe thought you did. But as you grow together and as you accomplish things, and maybe there are some setbacks, see, all those things make you stronger as a couple. But not if you throw in the towel. Not if you begin to turn on one another. Not if you begin to blame one another. So always be open. Always have conversations. Always have great communication. But beyond anything else, if I could give you the greatest, most valuable lesson, I believe it would be have a committed heart. Decide to decide, and do not let anything take you off of that. Do not let anything waver, because at the end of the day, I'm telling you, the victory, the rewards are great. They are wonderful. And they don't all show up in the honeymoon phase. They don't all show up in the sparkly, shiny phase of the new whatever it is, right? But through time and through hard work and through determination and through just seeing who you become in the pursuit of the things you want, I'm telling you, life is going to look so much better than you could have ever imagined. But you've got to be committed to see it through. You've got to know, no matter what life hands you, I'm not throwing in the towel. I am here, I am committed, and I am going to see the finish line. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Every time you think you get to the finish line, well, God's got a great sense of humor, and he's going to be like, oh, but wait, there's more. And your finish line's going to move. And it's going to be where you literally just get to impact more lives. See, it's like you're just going to a mountain and all of a sudden you go, oh gosh, there's another peak. Oh gosh, there's another peak. Like, I'm just going to keep going. And at some point you're going to summit, but who wants to stop? I don't ever want to stop growing. Here's what I also learned a long time ago. You're either growing and going forward, or you're sliding backwards, and that's usually death that is involved, right? There's no medium ground. You've got a lot in you to give to people, but if you don't give it, then you will start to decline, and you'll notice that, and that's not a good feeling. So I want you to continue to grow. I want you to continue to reach for new heights. I want you to dream new dreams. I'm telling you, we serve a big God, and he's not going to run out of any of his resources, and everything you can dream, he's going to make a way. So be committed, see it through, and I can't wait to hear some of your stories and what's happened through your commitments to make the world a better place. God bless.